Hi, Run Your Story family. This is Allison Gilliard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And I'm so thankful for Aaron from Run and Try Mobile, who is fueling our run stories this month, and especially this run story. So excited. Guys, go check out my friends at Run and Try. They believe in Run Your Story. They believe in the running community. Aaron has a heart of gold. He absolutely loves helping out our community, and whether it's fitting you for shoes or helping you start up a running club, go in and talk to Aaron and make sure that you say, hey man, thanks for supporting this podcast, believing and partnering with Run Your Story. They are one of our official running stores. And so we are so thankful for Aaron and his heart and his knowledge. He is willing to share anything and everything that he has to help you cross that finish line. Guys, from injury prevention, which I'm there quite often, from recovery, and all the finish lines in between, Run and Try Mobile can help you find the perfect fit to get you across that finish line, to get you through training, whether it's pickleball, or training for the launch of Mississippi Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Battleship 12K. Guys, we have so many incredible races coming up. If you finish the Azalea Trail, we all know that shoes can make or break our training, can make or break a run for their finish line. So definitely go get fitted, whether it's for everyday wear. You know, my daytime job is on my feet all the time. And so you definitely need a great pair of shoes. So from gait analysis to finding the fit that you need, again, like I said, from pickleball to the gym, I get all my shoes from either Run and Try or Wagner's, guys, because these two companies are going to take such good care of you. They absolutely believe in you, and they believe in what you're going to do. That's the cool thing. Go get fitted by them. Make sure to say, hey man, thank you so much for your time, but also for what you do for their running community. And I also tell people, go in there and ask them what nutritionals they like. They carry my Carbs Fuel. I've already told Aaron, I'm like, man, I'm going to need you to carry this other brand that I really like. And Aaron's always up for ideas. So definitely go in, stop in, say, hey man, I need some shoes. Here's some ideas I have. And see how the team at Run and Try can help you guys out. And the reason why we did this intro is because I got to sit down, guys, with the Dale Boyd. Absolutely phenomenal, so much fun. And he is a part of the Flat Boy gang. He's a part of a lot of different gangs, but it was so much fun. And him and Aaron are like besties. So this was such a fun interview. I absolutely loved it. I also had no idea, out of interviewing Lance and James and even Aaron, none of those guys mentioned that Dale had beat them in a half marathon. So Lance, James, Aaron, Flat Boy Gang, congratulations, Dale. I just don't feel like you got the adequate congratulations about beating those three. So congratulations, my friend. I had so much fun with Dale. You guys, you're going to be inspired, because also one of the things about Dale is that I did finally get him to admit that he's a runner. He's going to say so much about this podcast. I'm not a runner. I'm not really a runner. And yet he is a runner. And so that's one of the things that we try so hard in this running community to say is that if you run, it doesn't matter if you run for 30 seconds or you run for 30 miles. You're a runner. And everyone is in such a different season of life. And Dale and I talked a lot about that. Also, the cool thing about Dale is that he's a co-host of a podcast called Ride the Rebellion, Zero Drop Podcast. Absolutely so much fun. I've been listening to them, and they're a hoot, guys, if you want a good laugh. But they also talk about serious things as well. And I loved how they just want to tell people stories in different formats, in different ways. And so that was a lot of fun as well. And just as Dale says, mind over matter. And again, we're all in different seasons. And the thing that I love about podcast hosts is that they saw a need, or they saw something in there, or they had a passion and they said, we should talk about this, where everybody can hear about it. And that was really, really fun. So I hope that you guys get so much out of this, just like what I did. Dale, thank you so much for sharing your story and all the stories that you shared off the air about Lance and Aaron and James. I'm totally just kidding, guys. He did not do that. He did not break the bro code. So, but thank you, Dale, for sharing your story, for being the runner that you are, but also the mountain biker that you are. And we talk a lot about that as well on this podcast. So thank you, Dale, for sharing your heart. Thank you for making this so much fun and for all that you do. And you are just such a really cool dude. So thank you so much. All right, guys, get ready, get set, and go run with my friend Dale, or bike. You can bike with him too, and his story. Thanks, Dale, for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So excited. As I told you, your name has been dropped several times. And it's nice to finally meet you in person. And so I'm really excited. And I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm a little intimidated because you're a fellow podcaster.
Yeah. Don't be intimidated.
And so I've been listening to your podcast and we've been talking about it. And yeah, so if I get a little nervous, guys, it's because I'm with, and we started around the same time, which is wild, crazy. So I'm really excited to learn more about the story behind Ride the Rebellion. But let's jump into running because you're also a cyclist. So I also want to talk about that too.
Okay.
But how did you get into running? Like, how does your run story begin?
So I don't know how far back you want to go with it, but I played college basketball.
Oh, okay.
When I was in college, basketball is life. I'm from that traditional sport, like you get cut if you're not good. So I have this and I'll tell that a little bit later, but when I was playing college basketball, we had to run 4 miles. And they told us that if we didn't make it in a certain time, we got cut automatically. Well, I had spent my life playing basketball, not running. So I sprinted. I was like, I'm going to get done. And I got done in 26 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like in shape and I was a college basketball player. Well, I get done and all the coaches are laughing. The players are laughing. It was 100% a joke. It was a hazing joke from all of the upperclassmen that no one's getting cut. I just thought that. Like, I thought, okay, I'm going to go fast because I'm not getting cut because I can't run.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I ran until I was almost 40.
What?
To say all that. Yeah. So
that is crazy.
Really, for real. Yeah. I didn't. So after that, I was like, I'm never running. That was terrible.
Sure.
And everybody's like, you're really good at it. I'm like, I don't care. That was the worst experience. And I got hazed into running and I will not run again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was it. That was the end of running for me. And then I quit basketball. So I quit everything.
Okay.
And I graduated college. I gained a ton of weight. I managed an athletic facility for Honda for 10 years in Ohio. And I got up to almost 280 pounds. I'm 6'4", so 280 wasn't abnormal, but I just lifted every single day. And I'd always make a stupid joke, and don't be offended anyone, but I'd always say cardio is for fat people. And I'm not fat, so I'm not doing cardio. I really was fat. I should have been doing cardio, but I was hiding behind the fact that I was strong. I was like, I'm a big muscle guy. I'm cool. So I wasn't cool, and I was probably dying slowly. But yeah, so then I moved to Mobile probably 6 years ago, and I had started a weight loss journey. I started keto really hardcore, and that was my lifestyle at that point. So when I got to Mobile, my brother-in-law at the time was into running. He was doing Ironmans, and he was like, hey, do you want to go run with me? And when I moved, I thought, I want a mountain bike. So I bought a mountain bike. I always was a BMX kid when I was growing up, and I skateboarded and snowboarded, and I was always like fringe society kind of kid, but still playing basketball. I was like border. I was friends with everybody. It was weird.
Bougie, but
yeah. I was that guy that's like, wait, they're smoking cigarettes. I can't hang out with them until they put it down, but we can skateboard after that, right? It was a weird dynamic. So I'm trying to get to where I started running. So I moved here, and when I got here 6 years ago, he said, hey, let's go for a run. And I was like, dude, I'm not running. That sounds terrible. Last time I ran, it was the worst experience, and that was 25 years ago, and I still have PTSD from it. I'm not doing it. So I went and ran anyway. And your first run, you have the worst shoes, and you're just there. And he's an Ironman guy. I'm never going to be able to keep up. Well, halfway through the run, I'm still talking, and he's dying. And I'm like,
wow,
what are we doing? I thought that you were the runner. So then my competitiveness kicks in. And I'm like, wait, that means I'm still good at running. And I've lost all this weight. Maybe I can do it. And at this point, it transpired over a month or so. I got into cycling. I got into mountain biking really hard. Well, to go mountain biking every day is a lot of work. And there's not a lot around here to do it. So running could fit that fitness in there where I wasn't cycling. And I don't ride on the road at all. I think that's a terrible idea. It's like playing Frogger. And I run beside the cars, and I'm already scared. And I'm on the sidewalk. So So I started running then, and started supplementing my fitness for cycling with running. And I'm probably going to be your worst running story person because running is not my passion. I do not like it. I do it so I don't kill people. That's my mental health aspect. I kill myself so I don't kill you type of thing. That's my addiction. And when people ask me if I'm a runner, I don't say I am.
Really?
That's the last thing. I'm like, no, I'm not a runner. I just go. And every day at the park, I run every day. And I get asked the question, like, what are you training for? And usually it's life. Like, I don't race. I raced for a while because I was competitive, and we could talk about that a little bit later in another question, but I don't race. I just run. I'm still a big guy. So this is actually funny. I got done running at the park, Medal of Honor Park. Some lady just approached me. I didn't know her. And I was like, hey, how are you today? And she's like, hey, what are you training for? And I was like, oh, nothing. And she's like, wow, you're really fast. And I was like, I'm just trying to get done. And she was like, well, I just don't see guys your size running that pace very often.
Whoa.
And I was like, I don't know how to take that. So I was like, well, I guess I'm either good or fat, or fat and good. So then it prompted a thing that my friends James, that past guest, and Aaron and Lance, I always would tell them I'm the fattest of the fastest. Like, whenever we get done in a race, like, I would be the biggest and everybody would be fast. And I'm like, hey, I'm the fattest of the fastest. So there we go.
I want to know, did the guys get you a medal for that?
No,
Do you
because
have a plaque? I
no,
feel like you should have
I'm
something
going to
for
take a
this.
nice jab at both James and Lance.
Do it. Go right
now.
ahead.
And they couldn't get me a medal because I got the medal when I beat them in a half marathon. So,
high five!
so Lance and James, you're welcome. I was there. It happened. That was my only half I ever ran, by the way.
Okay, which half was that?
It was a Panama City half marathon.
Oh, okay.
Which is a whole other story. Because Aaron was there as well. So
that just sounds like a whole bad situation.
It was. We have a nickname for it. It's called Run Springa, like the Amish kids, but we had a whole trip. It went wild.
I bet it did.
But luckily, Aaron was pacing, so I
Okay.
didn't have to race him. So there was that. Yeah, it went well. I would have never, honestly, in all honesty, I would totally respect Lance and James, and they had ran a lot before that, and I did not know what to expect at all. It was
Sure.
an out and back, and it was the first half I'd ever done. I trained for 6 weeks, and that's it. And I was
Wow.
like, let's go. And middle of the training, I ran the battleship.
Okay.
I did that in the middle, and I thought I was fast until that race. Those people in that race are crazy fast.
Yeah.
So I think I passed them with a 5K left, and I was like, what are you guys doing?
For real?
Yeah,
What
and-
were their facial expressions?
They were getting water, and I was like, what are you guys doing? When we ran,
I didn't know these guys drink water.
I didn't either. And so when I went by, I was like, what are you guys doing? We don't drink water. And then I thought that they came with me, and I'm running along, and I'm yelling like, come on, guys, don't be sissies, with other words. I'm yelling. I'm like, guys, we're almost done. We can do this. Beer's awaiting us. Like, I'm yelling. I feel somebody right here, and I look, and it's like a 15-year-old girl. And I was like, I'm sorry. Just keep running. Yeah, so it was cool. The whole day ended up being really awesome, and I'm glad I did it. But that was my last race.
That is
no,
incredible.
actually, I raced one more time after that.
I love that story.
Yeah,
That's a great story.
well, you only got just the tip of the iceberg, because after the race, everything that happened after that will not be talked about.
Oh, dang. I'm not one of the flat boys.
Not
so-
recorded conversations.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you did mention you got into mountain biking.
Mhm.
So how does that transpire here in this area? Because obviously we don't have mountains.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I always say I don't want to ride up mountains anyway. It's painful. I like hills.
Yeah. Okay.
But so I didn't even know mountain biking existed here.
Mhm.
Before I moved, I searched for it and was like, hey, there's a mountain biking group. Cool. I'm going to join one of their group rides. And so I did. And South has nice trails.
Mhm.
I'm on the board of SAMBA, which is South Alabama Mountain Bike Association. And we have an MOU, or memorandum of use, with South.
Oh,
and we
cool.
maintain the trails of South. So all the signs out there, SAMBA's put up, and I've been a part of that, thankfully. And so we have that with them in Chicxulub that just reopened.
Mhm.
We have an MOU with the county to maintain those trails as well. And Blakely State Park in Spanish Fort.
Mhm.
Blakely's really nice. It's really strict over there because of the historical implications. But so we have places to ride here. But I've said that now I don't ride for the bike so much. I'm addicted to adrenaline, but I don't ride so much for the bike, but the community that I've built around the bike.
Mhm.
That is more, I enjoy riding by myself, but I'd rather ride with people.
Sure.
So
Mhm.
that's been my thing. It's just different.
Mhm.
And everybody's tribal. So
Mhm.
everybody wants to be part of a tribe.
Sure.
So once you find these people that you click with or you
Mhm.
connect with,
Mhm.
and you happen to have bikes there, it's cool.
Mhm.
So The mountain bike community is awesome here. There's different parts of it, and I'm living that high school life where the skateboarders were smoking. So I can ride XC. I like to go fast, and I like to go for a long time because I did some ultra racing and things like that on mountain bike. Not to steal running valor on mountain bike. So I did a 70-mile mountain bike race that had almost 9,000 feet of climbing on my bike up to Mount Cheehaw.
Wow.
So I've done that, and I can ride with those guys, but I also like to just jump, and I like to just hit jumps over and over again. And so I have that side of my friends. So not everybody does both. Like the left side that does the hardcore riding, they ride in their underwear, I like to say, because they wear spandex and they look weird. And the other guys ride with regular clothes on. But at the end, everybody drinks beer, and it's usually fun. But mountain biking is definitely a passion. That's what I'm passionate about. It's not running. Running is just a tool that keeps me able to, and I probably am lying to myself. I'm probably more of a runner than I want to.
Yes, you are.
I really am. But I try to avoid it. And I don't know why. I mean, there's no stigma. I'm friends with runners. I think it's okay. But I don't run with people. So I run alone.
Okay.
So maybe there's other runners at the park when I'm there, and I talk to them, but afterward or before. Not during.
But you run with Aaron.
Sometimes when Aaron still ran, I did. Yeah, Aaron's lazy now, so no shade, Aaron.
No shade, Aaron. So
he's not lazy. He's done too much other stuff. I can't keep up.
Let's talk about, how did your podcast come to be? How did Ride the Rebellion Zero Drop podcast come to be?
Okay, so Ride the Rebellion was a passion project also, as well for Drew and I. We started the podcast because we were having a bunch of conversations at trailheads or events we were going to that we want other people to be a part of or like to hear or see what it's about without us translating it. And yet here we are translating it. But we learned that there's a need for that. Like when you can't ride your bike, or if it rains all the time, or you're busy, you can throw on the podcast and like get a little taste of what you're missing at the trailhead. And it's kind of like, let's create that FOMO that people want, and then maybe we can create something bigger out of it. And so it's grown into a community that people like to identify themselves as a Ride the Rebellion person. Like the Ride the Rebellion is a place, or the rebellion is a place. Ride the Rebellion is a mentality around the place, is what we said. And people are always like, well, what are you guys rebelling against? And it's like, look, ourselves, really, because I'm on the board of Samba, the local mountain bike organization. I started another jump. It's a club, I guess. It's not real. It's fake. It lives in a world, a different world. It's called the Sweet Potato Mountain Bike Crew. And some people might have seen those posts. We started that. And somebody was like, well, I don't know. I like to go to Ride the Rebellion rides. I don't like to go to Samba rides because they're not that cool. And I'm like, it's literally the same people. I don't understand. I go to both. Like, I don't understand when people say things like that, because I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever name it has, people put that stigma on it. Like Samba is corporate looking.
Okay.
And the Sweet Potato Mountain Bike Ride it looks like a turd. The logo literally looks like a turd. When I made it, I came out with it on my shirt. My wife goes, that looks like a turd. And I was like, hell yes. Thank God. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be taken seriously. And so I even made the meme once of the Spider-Man guy pointing to all Spider-Mans and said, oh my gosh, it's all the same people.
Yeah.
So I know everybody wants to be tribal, and whatever tribe you fit in, that's great, but it's all the same. Like we all want the same thing. You don't have to dislike somebody because they like to go fast and you like to jump. You don't have to dislike somebody because they do long runs and you do short runs.
Yeah.
You're still all the same tribe. Just fit in. No, like quit trying to force your way in or things like that. And I forced my way in. So when you force your way in, make sure you have a plan.
You say, here I am.
Yeah, here I am. Here I am. I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way at first, and I get it. My personality is not likable for everyone, but it's because I'm very competitive. And Drew and I've had this conversation a lot. My competitiveness is like scary because when it's race time, I'm not fun. I'm going to take the fun out of everybody around me because I'm serious.
Yeah.
There's no joking. So I've tended to host events that aren't runs or aren't races.
Yeah.
They are they're just mountain bike festivals because I don't want to ruin my fun. And then you get a race brings a certain emotion out for everyone. And so I don't want that emotion there. I just want it to be fun. And so maybe it's selfish of me because I don't want that. And I'm sure that I was going to say this at the beginning, I'll bring it up now. When I talk about running to people, I tend to over talk about my pace or my accomplishments with running.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that poorly, but I'm from a world where you were good and you made it, or you weren't and you got cut.
Yeah.
So for me, my running credibility relies on how good I am at it. Does that make sense? Like, and everybody measures your success running differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I get that, but for sometimes I'm really bad about it. I try not to, but I tend to, and I don't mean to. So I apologize to anybody that does it, that gets offended by it when I say it. Like if somebody's like, "How was your run today?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was good. I ran 8 miles at 7-minute pace. It was awesome." And to me, that's just me saying I'm successful. To them, they hear, "Oh, wow, you're just saying that you're better than everyone by saying you did." I've gotten that before. So I try to not. I'm like, no, I'm just saying I am good.
Yeah.
Respect me because I'm good.
Right.
Respect me not because I ran, but I don't even know why I need the respect. I don't deserve it. Everybody can run. It's not like I'm special, but I guess it's just something I'm good at. And I don't really have a career. So I want those small moments without racing.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's hard to explain. Maybe it's in my head.
No, I get it. So I've taken out the word, and we talked about this earlier. It's the same for me. I try not to, because I understand that everybody's in a different season. Everyone, you know, I don't know the person next to me at the start line
Right.
if they've gotten the worst tragic news of the day before they showed up. Or like me, like I'm coming out of an injury. And so my doctor's been like, you can run, but we're not worried about pace right now.
Right.
Like that will come, but we are slow and steady. And so I've even had to walk a 5K because I just want to be able to do it.
Right.
But that's the season I'm in. How long I'm there, I don't know. And so everyone's in that different season. And so your season just looks different than everyone else's.
It looks super competitive.
But for me, I won't ever race. That's not what I am about. Like I've never been a fast runner. Maybe when I lived in Clark County and I was younger, I was faster. But you move to Mobile, there's so many great runners.
Yeah.
And as you said, taking race out, I go and ask people, I'm like, hey, how do you feel? Like, how was that run? What was your favorite thing? Like, because I also understand, I don't want somebody, if it's their first time, to be like, well, I only did this. But you still got there, you still did it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So I just think it looks different for everybody.
Yeah, that's my problem. I want everybody to feel accomplished, but I want them to also feel like I'm better. Like not better, like, but I want them to recognize, oh
and
wow,
you beat
we did,
yourself.
like we did the same race, but our races were way different.
Correct.
That's what I want.
Yes.
Not that I'm better or anything. I just want
Yeah.
to know the level that I pushed myself to in that race was maybe not the same. I mean,
Correct.
or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it was the same. The paces just turned
Sure.
different. The problem that I've run into, and I'll be honest, like I've rubbed off on my son. So my son is 11 now, and he's competitive, but we've had this constant talk his whole life. Act like you've been there before, no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to teach him what I'm not good at.
Yeah.
And so no matter what happens, act like you've been there and you know what it feels like to be that good, or you know what it feels. And he's way more athletic than I ever was. And at 5 years old, he did a Zeta Trail by himself, the whole 5K,
Oh, that's awesome.
under 30 minutes at
Wow.
5 years old. And I was like, what is a 5-year-old thinking about?
Yeah.
But he crosses the line and he's mad and he was like unhappy. And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
why are you mad? I'm like, do you understand? That's a lot of steps for a 5-year-old by
Right.
themselves.
Yeah.
And he was like, I didn't win. I was like, you thought you were going to win all these people? And so everybody's like, oh, does he love running? I was like, no. He hates losing. He literally thought he was going to win that race. And I'm like, that's nuts. And so last year was my last race, probably maybe ever. But I trained because I wanted to do a sub 25K.
Okay.
And so I did it at the Victor's run. And I was like, this will be perfect. It's a great place. I knew Keith was running. And I was like, oh, he can help pace me. Like, it'll be perfect. I thought I trained well enough, and I didn't. I ran 20:07 or something. It was pretty close. But my son ran as well. And for the first mile and a half, he was with me. And I was like, dude, you cannot do, he doesn't run. He's just an athlete. I was like, you've got to chill.
Yeah.
And he ended up running 25 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that was really good. And he was mad again. I'm already mad because I didn't get my goal. And he comes up and he's mad because he didn't win. I'm like, here, you can have my medal. I don't even want it. It's crazy. And so I'm trying to like learn how to be different. Like it's so hard because it's been ingrained in me since I was a kid. I got cut in basketball in middle school and told I wasn't good enough. So that propelled me or gave me a chip that I can't get rid of.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to. So maybe that's why I mask it with all the group stuff I do or try to do with mountain biking. Like, hey, look, guys, I'm not, like, I will beat you if you want me to, but we're going to hang out and be cool today. Check my Strava. It's so bad, but it's sometimes I say that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's frustrating
Mm.
for myself. It's just a thing that I battle with internally. And I apologize for anybody listening that takes it that way. I'm really sorry. Because I know I do it. I'm socially aware, well enough aware that I am doing it. Sometimes I'll walk away from conversations like, oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. I made myself look like an idiot.
Listen, half the time we're all delirious anyway.
That's true. I'm probably drunk, actually. Yeah.
I was to say, no one, most people are like, I don't, what did Dale say?
Yeah.
Did you like?
It was gibberish.
Yeah.
It was drunk and gibberish.
They're like, we're all exhausted, all
Mhm.
exhausted. So obviously you've already hinted at one of the lessons that you've learned
Mhm.
from mountain biking, from running, from podcasting. Is there another lesson that's been a core with you?
I have gotten really in tune with my body, and I wear a Garmin watch and it has my HRV and it has all my sleep data and it does all that. I can tell before I get sick now.
Oh.
So I'm the worst runner or cardio person on the planet because I don't drink water like I should. I don't stretch. And I was a personal trainer with a sports management degree, and I literally know how to do it all.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. I run through injuries. I have a shin splint problem right now, and I've been still running. Like, I just can't stop. I do everything you shouldn't do as a runner. And so that's a lesson that I've learned is listen to your body, I think. I don't listen to it. I'm just saying, I'm preaching, like, I don't practice what I preach.
Yeah.
I think that I should, and I can probably tell people, hey, you shouldn't do that while I'm doing it. It's a terrible idea. But I think that's learning from your body and learning what makes you happy when you're doing something. That's another thing. Like, going 50 miles this month might not make me happy. But next month I might be like, hey, I want to run 50 miles. And it's okay to change your mind. Your identity doesn't lie on your decision at the time or your opinion. With politics or with life or with running or with anything, right, you can change your mind.
Yeah.
You're not married to that. You can divorce your opinion. It's okay. So I think that that's another thing. It's if you're a 5K runner always, cool, be that. But you can change your mind and change. You can change paths, and it's okay. No one's going to judge you. Only you. We're adults. Like, if somebody's judging you, they don't need to be around you anyway.
Exactly.
So that's partly another thing. I guess these are all things I think about when I'm running, honestly. I'm like, why am I doing this again? It's going through my mind. Like, should I be doing this? I think my body hurts. This is a bad idea. You would tell that person to stop.
Let's see. Oh, you don't think about the lady in the parking lot?
Oh, there's motivations there. And then when I finished the race, when I was trying to go for the fast time, I don't even know if I should say who said it, but it's funny and I wasn't mad. But he was like, guys, you need to cheer for this man. No, look how big he is. He finished that fast. That's a lot. That's really fast for a guy his size. And I was like, dang, man, it just keeps following me. So I need to just make shirts that say the fattest of the fastest. It's just funny. I don't get offended by it. I don't really care, but it does. It's one of those things where whenever I hear that, I just see that basketball coach that cut me when I was a kid. And I'm like, oh, it's you. You are still living through these people. You're telling me I'm not good enough. And then I go out and my heart's, oh, you need to stop.
Yeah.
My watch is like, your max heart rate increased, and it should not have.
Like the anger inside.
Yeah, but I use running as a mental health thing. I try to use it. And I try to tell my wife, like, I'm not telling you to go run or like saying, hey, you need to lose weight. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah.
I think I know that my friends that I'm friends with, Emily and Aaron, I talk to them a lot about it. When we run, that's when our mental health gets better.
Absolutely.
We were running for other things, not just to be physically run.
Right.
That's why your pace doesn't matter. If your pace is fast because you're angry, like that got the anger out. When you get done, you're not angry anymore. And you ran hard.
Yeah.
And it hurt. And that was what the pain was. So I think that if you can run your emotions, it is pretty cool too. I always try to translate that. But not one person that I mountain bike with runs.
Wow.
So it's like it's a total disconnect there. They don't get it. They don't understand. And I'm like, guys, but you're coming to ride your bike 1 or 2 days a week and you're out of shape and you feel like crap. Go run. It takes 25 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever you're doing, 30 minutes max. And you can get a good run in. Plus, if you run in the morning, nothing else the rest of the day could be worse than that. Literally. You could get hit by a car and you'd be like, I ran today. And I would probably, in my personality, I'm so dumb, I'd be like, and I did it at 7:08 pace.
I actually got back up and I finished my ride.
Yeah, exactly.
On one leg.
Is it weird to you? And I don't know that I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
When you run, you feel accomplished about running. Do you feel like you have to tell somebody that day you ran?
Oh, that is a good question.
Because I find myself doing it.
Well, so like today when I was with patients, they were like, okay, well, what race are you working this, or what are you running this weekend?
Yeah.
Or are you working a race? Like they'll ask me. So I guess the conversations I have with non-runners, or I guess even runners that are patients of mine, they know that I run.
Right.
And so I guess I do talk about running a lot. I'll have patients that are, I can tell you if I go work out or run before work, I'm like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm good to go. Because again, as you said, like, because I'm not a morning person, but if I can get it out of my system, it's like an instant, like, today's going to be a great day. So I'll walk in, and even my coworkers are like, wow, she's been working out, or she went for a run. And so, yeah, I guess patients would be like, wow, we're really chipper today. And I'm like, well, just got back from a run or something like that. So yeah, no, I guess I do.
Yeah, it's funny because during baseball season, we'll go on travel tournaments and we'll all stay in the same hotel and we'll get up and we'll get to somewhere and they're all having coffee, the continental breakfast, all the dads, and I'll walk in. They're like, oh, of course. How far did you run today? I'm like, it's like, wait, did you know I was going to tell you? I didn't just get done running. They're like, well, yeah, you're going to tell us right away because you feel like you're shaming us. And I'm like, no. I'm just trying to tell you guys that you don't need that coffee. We could have gone and ran and you'd be just as awake. And so now it's just become a joke. It's always, so that's another thing I'm trying to work on. I'm not vegan. I don't need to tell everybody I'm vegan. I'm a runner. I don't need to tell everybody I ran today.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So you just said that you're a runner.
On the
podcast.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it's been said. It is there.
I'm also not a vegan.
I do think we should get you a t-shirt that says I ran today.
Yeah, I think there are those shirts. I've seen them. Yeah, I make shirts, so I have a ton of shirts.
I feel like you should get that.
Yeah, I probably should.
You should.
And then in parentheses, a sub-6 pace or something ridiculous. Something that I can't achieve.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, it's a
good idea.
It is.
Absolutely.
Or it says, I thought I was good till I ran the battleship.
12K. Yeah.
That was so fast, that run. I do like
the
it.
The first mile is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
All downhill.
Yeah, I looked at my watch after the first mile of that race, and I was in the middle of half training, so I was like, it was perfectly lined up for my training at the time. And I looked at my watch, and usually at races, another ego moment here, I'm not with a bunch of people after a mile and a half. It thins itself out.
Sure.
And I look at my watch, and there's a ton of people still around me and in front of me, and I was like, wait. It was like a 5:45.
What?
And I was like, the guy that was beside me, I knew him, and I was like, I'll see you, dude. Like I just literally stopped. I was like, I'll just pick this back up right here. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. Like, I'm going to die. And so are all them. And I never saw them again. So they either died or they finished way before I did. So I think they probably beat me by a lot.
I was to say, I don't remember seeing a lot of ambulances that day. So,
and just to humble brag again, I ran that race and I was 38 years old, maybe 39, something in there. I ran it at 7:03 pace or something like that and got 10th in my age group.
Dude, that's awesome.
No,
that's
10th
amazing.
is crazy that there's that many fast
Right,
kids
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's amazing. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, I was like,
wow.
Holy moly, that is a lot of fast people in that race. It's crazy.
It's wild how many people come and run that. But it's such a great race.
Yeah.
Such a great running event.
It really is until you get to the bridge right before the battleship.
Listen, we don't talk about that. Because I'm okay with the bridge. It's the coming down. Oh, like, I again love coming down. But then you turn in and you're like, there's still more to go. Not done.
You get to the bridge, you can see the ship, and you're like, I'm great. And then you're like, no, wait, I'm not. We got like another mile left. Yeah, that was a rough one.
I love it. Let's talk about routines. Do you have one, like what do you do for mountain biking, pre-routine?
Make sure my cooler has beer in it. Seriously, mountain biking is just make sure I have my gear. There's not a big, running probably has more of a routine than mountain biking.
Okay, so what does your routine look like?
I don't eat or drink anything before I run. In the morning, I run fasted. And I could go 10 miles or I could go 3 and I still don't eat anything.
Have you talked to Steven Blinkus? You should meet him. You two would be
he doesn't eat
buddies.
No.
It is insane. And he's fast.
Yeah, I don't. So I take my daughter to school and I drop her off and so she goes downtown. So sometimes I'll run downtown. So if you see me trotting around downtown.
Love downtown.
It is fun. It's a little nerve wracking sometimes, but I run down there or I run at Medal of Honor Park and I just find different routes and someday, and I don't have a training schedule. So I run however I'm feeling. If I feel good, I keep running. If I don't, I stop. And a lot of times I run and then I bike in the evenings with groups or stuff like that. Like I ran this morning, I'm going to ride tonight. But I don't like routines as much as I do live a routine. I don't like them because then if that routine is thrown off, then your whole day is messed up.
Okay.
So if I can do different things, sometimes I'll be going somewhere and people are very habitual. Like it is so hard. I worked at a factory as I managed the gym in a factory. The people that worked there, if you moved anything, they'd freak out because their lives are so regimented. And I vowed to not live my life like that. So some days I'm just driving and I'm like, my body's on cruise control to go straight to the park and run, and I'll blow by it and just go to south and run. Or I'll do something different just to not be routine. And I think that I know people travel to go run and they do a lot of different running things. I'm not abnormal in that aspect, but I think that that's part of running. Keep it fresh, keep it new, keep it different, because running is not easy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we share it with everyone, because it's painful and we endure a lot. So we become friends and the group's bond grows tighter because we don't have to hunt and gather anymore, right? Our food is easy. We're not going to war every day, so we don't have to worry about getting blown up all the time. Our lives are inherently easy, so now any pain that we can have or produce, we want to share with people. And you bond from that, right? Like you learn, dang, I just did this, you did this, we're best friends.
Yeah.
We endured something together. We have a common problem or goal. So I don't know. I don't know where I went.
No, it's a great perspective. Yeah.
I don't know.
We were talking about routines.
Oh, okay.
And you're like anti-routine. I loved it. So let's talk about, you get done with a run. What do you like to do? Obviously there's beer.
Yeah. So I run in the mornings.
Okay.
So I don't drink a lot after I run, except for during hollow season. But after I get done running, this is another part of my pinnacle of adult health. I like to drink a Mountain Dew Zero or some kind of soda. That's the first thing I ingest in the mornings is I don't drink with sugar, but it's like it's weird. I should drink water, I'm sure, but I don't. I'll drink that and stretch for 3 minutes and claim that I stretched. It's nowhere near the enough stretching, but I like to claim that I did. That's probably what I do. Make sure my Strava uploaded, of course. And I used to be a Strava junkie, and I upload it because I learned that sometimes it's not about what happened on Strava, but I used it for motivation. Like that person ran today or that person rode today. I don't have an excuse why I'm sitting here scrolling. I can get off my butt and go do it. So I always look at it like maybe I inspire one person that didn't want to do it that day. I don't care if you look at the stats or not. I don't even look at them anymore. I just upload it and close it. I used to look at everybody's stuff all the time, and I don't anymore. So congratulations, kudos to all your KOMs that I haven't thumbed up for a long time. You're doing great. Just keep killing it. But I do that. Like I'm not be obsessed with the stats anymore as much as possible. Except for my paces, I got to tell everyone about for some reason. But I think that's probably the routine for the most part. That's it. Yeah, okay. I guess. So just to let everybody know, I do work. Like I can't just go run and drink a soda and hang out all day. So I work with Drew that I do the podcast with. He has a digital media company and we do a bunch of films and commercials and we do a lot of stuff like that. So I don't work every day. I work sometimes. Wait, actually, luckily, I'm answering this, not my wife, because she will just say, you just volunteer for everything. You don't work for anything. So I volunteer to hang out.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody has to
Somebody has to do it. Yeah. So I'm going to assume that your favorite running item is your garment.
No.
Okay.
I do love the garment because it's useful for my running, biking, and everything. But I love aftershocks, man.
Okay.
Or shocks, whatever they are called now. Because being able to hear ambient noises around me is so much safer. I tell everybody that mountain bikes, if you're going to listen to music, please put those on because if you're on a trail, it's dangerous. I'm doing 14 miles an hour on a trail. I'm not going to run into somebody. So if you're running on trails or anything like that, that's very important. And then when you're running on the road, you hear cars or you hear animals or I can hear dogs bark I don't know how, but so that's probably my favorite running accessory is my headphones. And actually I won the first pair I ever got, I won on a Holla at the Dollar bus trip.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when I didn't really know anyone. I just started.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I really wish, you brought up such a great point. I really wish that was mandatory for a runner, because you have people with the beats
Oh, it's so
And
terrible.
especially if you're working a finish line
Mhm.
and you're having to like pull the tab or you're like having to explain and people just do not pay attention.
Mm-mm.
And you're yelling, you're like, pull your tab. And they're like, what? And you're like, well, if you
Yeah.
would just listen,
A lot
take your
of
phone.
cycling races, you're not allowed to have headphones.
Yeah.
Because it's dangerous.
Right.
Because you have to say on your left or on your right to
Correct.
pass.
Yeah.
And so aftershocks or shocks, whatever they're called. Aaron, don't kill me.
I think it's good either way.
Yeah.
So what is your jam? What is your playlist?
I listen to podcasts. And actually,
Really?
here is really
Okay.
funny. I listen to podcasts only exclusively when I run.
Okay.
Because if I can remember what the podcast talked about, I don't know what hurt. So if you're thinking so deeply, if you're into the podcast or audiobook, I don't do very many audiobooks. And this is another inside. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so of course I'm a crime podcast guy. It's only natural, right? I listen to crime podcasts, and my wife makes so much fun of me. And I'm sure everybody
You're
else.
such a
will know.
girly pop.
Yeah, she's like, "What are you listening to?" I'm like, "Listen, this girl just got murdered. You don't even know." And so, and she's like, "Well, you don't either." I'm like, "No, but after episode 78, I will." So, yeah, the crime podcasts, I listen to them a lot. So I don't listen to any mountain bike podcasts.
Okay.
Ride the Rebellion is loosely a mountain bike podcast. But I don't listen to any others because I don't want to sit down on our podcast and say something that's already been heard. I want it to be original. I don't want to regurgitate what somebody else on a national platform saying or doing. I want it to be like my own thoughts, even if they're wrong, which we have 100 episodes. There's a lot of wrong thoughts, trust me. But so it's usually a crime podcast or some current event podcast, something like that. I had Aaron make a playlist for me that was just under 20 minutes for the run when I was trying to break 20 minutes for the 5K race. So I knew if this song's ending, I better go faster.
Wow.
So it worked out pretty good, except for I didn't make it. So it ended.
So your music ended?
My music ended.
By like what? 5 seconds?
I don't
7
know.
seconds
At that point, I was blacking out. So I didn't know the music was over anyway. It might have still been playing, actually. I don't even
Just
know.
rip it on repeat.
Yeah, that was a bad race. If you raced it, so Keith did run with me for the first, I think we were together for 2.5 miles, something like that. But it was foggy that morning and the fog lifted. And I thought I was doing great. And I wanted to be under 12 minutes at mile 2. And I was. And I was like, oh, dude, I got this. No, I must not have been. I must have been just over 12. So I want to be under 13. And I was like, oh, I'm good. And so all of a sudden the sun came out and the humidity level went infinity. And so the last mile, my heart rate, like you can look on my statistics, it just spiked. And I was like, I was done. There's nothing else. I came around the corner. I was like, they're all yelling for me to go faster. I'm like, there's no faster. This is it. This is it. I'm going to claim I'm fat right now. This is where the weight comes in. I'm too big. I can't go any faster. Sorry, this is it. That's all you get.
That is great.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's the one that Bradley was at, like the turnaround,
Yeah.
like, yelling.
Yeah.
And I was with a friend and I was like, please don't yell, Bradley. Please don't yell. And as soon as, and he was like, let's go, Allison. I was like, dang it. Like,
It got hot that
we
day,
did.
right?
And I was like, and I was with a friend and I had, because, I say I'm an honorary member of the Blue Bell Bombers. Okay. They've been very gracious and they allow me to wear a jersey. And so I was wearing that and I was with a friend that was wearing like a Run 251.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 running groups, like we're having the best time. And was it Reynolds? Who was it?
It was
Okay.
Bo, yeah.
Okay, Bo. Yeah. See, called him out.
I didn't say it earlier.
No,
He's
but
the
we
one
will call him out because he called me out. And he was like, yo, Bomber, don't let the 251 beat you.
Oh, no.
And I just look over and I was like, I'm so sorry.
That's
like,
awesome.
oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
Good job, Bo.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah.
Thanks for the motivation.
You crushed our spirits.
No, I was blacking out too. Somebody told me you said that. I wasn't even listening.
I couldn't listen. My music was going.
Yeah, my music was on. I couldn't hear anything.
That's hilarious. Okay. I'm not even going to assume. I would assume that you run in ultras because they call you the flat boy.
Yeah.
But I was wrong about your favorite running item.
So yeah, I do run it all.
Okay.
Aaron and James and I at one time were all wearing them, so we just called ourselves the Flat Boy Gang, and we'd always it was just a joke. At the time, that's all they made was exclusively super flat. Like we were all wearing Escalantes,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Now I got the forward. I think they're called forward. I don't know. I just asked Aaron. I'm like, hey, what were those? Just
What are you wearing these days?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take those. I do the Torin a lot.
Mm.
I bought 3 pairs of the exact same Torins. But I try to do these weird things where
Okay.
I try to run a lot of miles in certain shoes
Mhm.
just to see how far. I ran almost 600 miles in the last Ultra Forwards just to see, like, and the funny
Wow.
thing was I never got leg pain. I never hurt. And I got the new ones and then I got leg pain and hurt.
Mm.
And I was
Mhm.
like, "Why? This doesn't make any sense."
Mhm.
I had a pair of the Brooks.
Mhm.
So actually for the Battleship, to bring it back up, Aaron sold me a pair of those Brooks America flag ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, this will be great for this
Mhm.
race. It'll be awesome." Well, the last size that he had was actually half a size too small for me, but I could wear them like regularly, casually,
Mhm.
but I shouldn't be running in them. But I was like, "Oh, I'm going to wear them for this race. It's going to be awesome." I couldn't walk the next day. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't know that that was going to affect me so badly, but I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my goodness, I think I just blew my shins out."
Oh.
Running in those shoes are not made for my gait and not
Yeah.
made. So, yeah, ultras. I have an ultra hat, an ultra shirt, and I always like an ultra fanboy, but I have so many pairs of their shoes now. It's
Mhm. Well, you're part of the gang.
yeah, I'm part of a gang. I'm part of so many gangs. I was part of so many gangs that I even just make them up. I just
You're
some
part of a
I
sweet
just
potato gang.
yeah, and
Like,
I just make stickers
Mhm.
of it and I pass them out and people think it's real.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So the sweet potato thing is funny, just to change the subject
Mhm.
completely. So the sweet potato thing is real. It's so when I was first starting to ride, I would go ride with these guys, the Filipino dudes, a couple of them, and a couple other people. Well, one guy, every time we would ride, he would literally have a casserole dish of cooked sweet potatoes, and they would eat them like apples, like in between.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And so I'm so culturally dumb. I'm from rural Ohio, and I don't know anything about anything. And the Filipino guys were talking about something, and they were eating their sweet potatoes, and they're like, "Yeah, man, the Philippines, we eat them like this. We love them." And I was like, "Dude, I've never been in the Caribbean. What do I know about the Philippines? I'm so dumb. I don't even know anything about geography or culture or nothing." These are the first Filipinos I ever met. So we hung out for a while and we'd always go ride.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Guys, we need shirts. We need to prove that we are all on the same team here." So they were like, "What are we going to be called?" I don't know. The Sweet Potato Mountain Bike Crew. And they laughed. And I was like, "You guys think it's funny, but we're about to have shirts."
Here we go.
Yeah. So we made shirts and then we made stickers and we made a jersey. We made a jersey. The
Wow.
jersey came out. I sold 75 jerseys across Alabama. There's probably people that don't
What?
even know what it is.
Does
that
it
have-
look like an actual sweet potato?
No, it looks
No,
like a
just-
turd.
Okay, so it's the same logo.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So we sold these jerseys all over. And so I had never done a group ride. I just started riding hardcore, got
Mhm.
more serious. COVID happened. Right before COVID happened, my friend John Mackey, he's an avid cyclist, very, very good. He does a lot of very long mileage rides. Him and I were the only Sweet Potato Mountain Bike Crew guys still carrying on the thing. So I wasn't on the board of Samba yet. I
Mhm.
wasn't part of any other thing. Ride the Rebellion didn't exist. And I said, "John, let's have a group ride at Chicka's Boat." Because him and I were going every Saturday and riding anyway. I was like, let's just have a group ride, see what happens. So I put a thing on social media and said, "Join the legendary Sweet Potato Mountain Bike Crew as we shred the woods in Chicka's Boat Park." So I was like, "John, let's see what happens. Send it out." We show up and there's 25 people there.
Wow.
And I look at John and I was like, "Dude, do you know how to do a group ride? Because I know how to do a group ride. What are we going to do?" And so I just got to know all the people and was like, "Cool, guys, we're going to ride our bikes."
Yeah.
And then it just grew from there to the point where there was a couple weeks later, we're there and we're probably riding places we shouldn't have been because I didn't care. I'm like, we're doing whatever Dale wants to do and it's going to be awesome and I'll take the flag.
He's president of the Sweet Potato Ride.
Yeah, that doesn't exist because it's fake. So at the time, Alan Weatherford, that's now the president of Samba, he pulls up to this large group. There's 25 so people, and he's in his underwear because that's what he likes to ride in. And he rolls up and he was like, "Who's in charge here?" With like very sternly. And everybody points to me, and I was like, No. I don't even know what in charge means. This is a fake group. No. And
Really?
yeah, he goes, "We need to talk in the parking lot after this." And I was like,
Oh.
all right. So I was nervous. Everybody's laughing. They're like,
Sure.
"Oh, he's going to get yelled at, whatever." He wanted me to help him
Yeah.
organize Samba, get on the board because
Mhm.
he's deficient in the social media, social aspect. He's very deficient socially. Trust me. Anybody that's listening, if you never met Alan, he's handicapped socially. So he needed me to help him socially. And it would be a lot better if he would just stay out of my way now, still 5 years later. But he just wanted me to be, because he saw, hey, you're organizing things. I need that. So that's how the sweet potato kind of morphed into, hey, guys, we're Samba now. We're still sweet potatoes. So that, and then the Ride the Rebellion's a whole other gambit of craziness, I guess.
I'm laughing just thinking about all this.
Oh, it wasn't funny.
Crying
It wasn't
over
funny.
here
It
with
was
tears of laughter. That is so funny.
It was a weird predicament that I got myself in. Accidentally.
There's about to be a fight in the parking lot.
All I do is make shirts and stickers and just put them out. People think it's real. To the point where, this is actually funny, and no offense to anybody, but we were in Chulakwa in Auburn, and we were riding. We had these sweet potato shirts on, all of us did, and this guy said, dude, you guys have another one of those shirts that matches my bike, like the color of the shirts? And I was like, yeah, dude, I have another one in the car. I'll sell it to you. I sell it to him. He Venmos me, and his buddies are all standing there, and he goes, so what is the Sweet Potato Mountain Bike Crew? And I was like, oh, dude, we're a gay mountain bike club. We like to go ride our bikes around. And like, I said it with the straightest face, and his buddies all looked at him, and like, he had put the shirt on. He was proud at that point. So he's got a shirt on, and his buddies all look at him and start awkwardly trying not to laugh, because they think at this point there's 7 gay mountain bikers and we're all pretty big dudes. Like, it just looks awkward. And so we're staying in this parking lot, and the guy's like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, yeah, man, check us out on social media. Like, I just went with it. And one of our friends came over and was like, we are not gay. Like, that is a lie. And so it was just,
they're like, we may question about Dale, but
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it was funny, and his friends lost it at that point. It was hilarious, and I think we gained some followers.
I was gonna say, he will that will be the shirt that they talk about.
Oh yeah, for
You're
sure.
like, hey, do you remember the story?
And then they meet us, and they're like, well, they might be gay. I don't know. So it's fun. It's okay.
Oh my heavens.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's,
I'm literally crying.
Now the sweet potato thing just lives in infamy.
It does.
And now people just don't know. Sometimes people are like, man, they'll show up. One of my friends jokes that if I don't show up to a group ride, nobody wears sweet potato stuff or Ride the Rebellion stuff. But if I show up, everybody has it on. And I'm like, I don't tell them what to wear. I'm sorry.
And to be in this club,
you have to
wear this.
Yeah, it's a branding thing. It's your gang in, blood out.
That's fantastic. I love it.
That's
oh my gosh.
That's why I see running clubs need to be more blood in, blood out. You guys got to get more. Got to get brands.
Clearly, you need to start a running club. That's what you need to do.
I have the energy for all that. I'll let Aaron do that. I'll just show up.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious, Dale.
Yeah,
so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've already mentioned that you don't fuel for your 10-miler, but like for the half, even though you didn't stop for water, but James and Lance did.
Yeah, losers.
Did you take anything to fuel along the way?
I did
not.
No,
okay.
No. Actually, I remember I have a video of it. After the race, we drank a few beers, and then we went back to our condo. I literally poured a liquid IV into a Red Bull and drank it.
What?
And that was my first nutrition for the day. But yeah, that happened, but that was that was run spring. So there was no rules. So I can tell you how I fuel for mountain bike races because running races, if I'm doing a running race and I need fuel, it's too long. Okay. I want to be done with it before that. I've talked to Emily about it actually, but I've dabbled with the idea of doing an ultra because I think I can.
Sure.
And more or less because I want to mentally slow down because I can't. I'm very, very bad about pacing. Like I can't just pace.
Because you're like a 7.
Yeah, because I run 7.
Come on.
Yeah. Why would I? But I want to learn how to pace better. And I think that if I did an ultra, I'd have to be forced to.
Sure.
So I think that would be the only race that I would do maybe. And not her crazy ones, but
I think here's I have an idea. I think you, Lance, and James and Aaron, y'all should all do an ultra together. And I want to come be a part of the crew.
My goodness. I don't know. I
think
don't know if
you
it'll
should.
work. Lance will beat us, and I can't get beat by Lance because I have a 1-0 victory. I can't do it.
I think you could.
I
I
think
think it'd be so much fun.
It'd be a lot of fun.
It would be a party at the cruise station.
We have to drink a beer every lap. We just make it up. It doesn't even have to be a race.
There are no
we can
rules.
There's no rules.
There's no rules. Yeah.
That would be a fun race.
We would just have to make sure you eat.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be bad. So back to the fuel question, just because I do like this. I did this. It's called the Skyway Epic. I did it one year. They say 60-ish. It ends up being almost 70 miles.
Okay.
Out and back. It starts in Sylacauga, and you climb all the way up Mount Cheehaw, and it's a dirt, gravel, It's a nasty ride. It's really painful. So the first year I didn't know what to expect. I just took off. I'm fast and I'm going to go dominate people. And I did not. And I got dominated. And I'm pretty sure. So I go out 30 miles and I turn around. I'm coming back and I start cramping. It was like musical cramps. And at the turnaround, that everybody had drop bags where they're eating and they're sitting there eating sandwiches and stuff. And I pull up and I'm like, what are you losers doing? Like, why are you eating? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And we're 3 hours into a race of a 6 hour plus race.
Wow.
And I was like, you guys are idiots. I grabbed a couple Twizzlers and Coke and took off that were on the table. And so like less than 2 miles in, I'm just cramping. It's like musical cramps of death. And I don't even know what this is. I've never had this feeling. And so at this point, I'm looking for a place a helicopter can pick me up because I'm like, I'm dead. I'm going to die up here. There's no way I can get out of here. People are passing me like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't think so. And they're like, okay, man, have fun. Well, why did you ask me if I was okay then? Like, help me.
Another one's down.
Yeah. So I continued. I kept going. So I started 35. So I had to ride 30 plus miles cramping. And I always tell everybody, I'm like, I had every emotion under the sun. I was crying. I was smiling. I was like happy. I was sad. I was mad. I was frustrated. I was tired. I was like, I think I was pregnant. I was like, all I want is pickles and a nap. I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant. But I'm stuck on a mountain, so we got to figure this out when I get done. And so I kept riding, finished the race, and my wife was there, thank God. When I got done with the race, she had a blue tarp on the ground with a towel, a bottle of Pedialyte, and I didn't talk to her. She's been sitting there for 7 hours reading a book. And I get done, and I'm laying down on this tarp all muddy and tired. And I was like, this is really nice. Thank you so much. This is awesome. But why a tarp? Like, we have blankets. Like, we were camping. I don't need a tarp to lay on. What are you going to just roll me up? Am I dying? I just felt like it was a body bag. So that's been a joke now. She's just going to cover me with a tarp someday and walk away. Put a Pedialyte on it. So all that, long story, to say I did the race again next year, the following year. I set my Garmin to alert me to drink water every single time. So I was drinking water every time. I used Tailwind in my water because I really like Tailwind. It set well with me. And I had Goose, but most importantly, this is the secret to my success this second year. I had a pocket full of Skittles and I was eating them the whole time.
Wow. Yeah.
And everybody's like, what are you eating? I'm like, I literally, you know those big giant bags of Skittles you can buy? That was all in my pocket. And I'm just eating them the whole time while I'm pedaling. And it was calories and it was sugar. And I don't understand nutrition like I probably should. But I was like, oh, dude, this is another Skittle. Cool. And that's all I kept thinking about was Skittles and water, Skittles and water.
No cramping.
Zero cramping. To the point where I paced myself going up because I was scared. I was like, I'm going to cramp at some point. I don't want to cramp. And it ends up being almost 8,000 feet of climbing. So
oh my gosh.
There's a 5 mile, 1,800 foot climb at one point. Like you look down and I jokingly told the guys beside me, I was like, guys, we are riding up a waterfall right now. There's water running down. So yeah, so I made a sandwich for the turnaround. Like I had peanut butter sandwich and ate some Pringles, I think, some salty stuff. And I sat there and just was joking with people and having fun. And on the way back, there's an aid station. It's at the Bull Gap aid station. And that'll come up in a story in just a second. So the Bull Gap aid station, I stopped there. I'm like, I'm really good. And some guy's like, out of the way, out of the way, out of the way. I was like, dude, relax, bro. I'm like, if you're still back here with us, the winners are already done. You're not going to win anything at this point. I said, just take a picture. Enjoy yourself. I was like, no one cares where you finish. I said, the only person I care about where I finished is my wife, and she doesn't know how to read, so I won. And the guy just looked at me, and this is a thing about racing. That's the emotion I don't want to be a part of. I don't want that guy's attitude. I want everybody that's doing something to enjoy themselves. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the fact that you're out here in the middle of nowhere and you haven't been on your phone for 6 hours. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. We're all enduring this together. No one cares about that medal you're going to hang on the wall, except for me, because I'm going to tell you that I want it.
I'm going to wear it all week long.
Yeah, no one cares. And I'm talking to myself when I'm saying this. No one really cares. And so just enjoy it. So I finished the race. I actually stopped to pee, and somebody was like, are you okay? And I was like, yes, I'm peeing. And so that was always a funny joke. But when I got done, I was like, I sprinted and I was passing people going in. They're like, dude, are you doing the 100 mile or the 60? I was like, no, 60. They're like, why are you still have this much energy? What did you do? So because of all that, I say all that because for the last 3 years of that race, I have hosted this Bull Gap aid station. And so 2 years ago, it's about 25 miles in. It's at the base of the 5-mile climb. 2 years ago, this would have been the third year they canceled the race, but it would have been the third year. So 2 years ago, I got with the guys at Bump in Birmingham, and there was only probably 10 of us that sat out there, but we literally cooked grilled cheese sandwiches, and we had all this music. We had Master P playing through the mountains. Like, we had a big speaker. We had Fireball, and people are doing shots, and we did all this stuff, and we had all this food, and we're cooking, and we're just having fun. And it's a party because I know emotionally at that point, you're either defeated and you want to quit, or you're on your way back and you're defeated and you want to quit. So it was like, that was our spot where I said, listen, I told the race director, I said, I never want to race again, but I want to do something that isn't happening currently. It was just a water station. People would get a cup of water, and the Rotary Club, no offense to them, was just handing water. And it was, but I wanted to be an emotional pickup or a way we can help them. So we did it, and it was a great, people talked about it.
Oh, I bet.
And so then the next year we were like, we got to step it up. So I got a bike shop up there that is a sponsor of our podcast. He showed up to help fix anything that was broken. We had them. We had Bump again. They brought their grill, and we had bacon, and we had venison, and we had grilled cheese, and we had pickles, and we had Fireball, and we had beer, and we had everything up there. And the best part was we put a beer bong on a bike stand on a table that had pickle juice in it, and people were beer bonging pickle juice to keep from cramping. So we had all of that in the middle of nowhere with no cell phone service. And we're just up on the top trying to help people get through. And everybody's like, why did you guys go to that race? I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, do you race? I'm like, no, that's stupid. We just hang out. So this year it was supposed to be in a couple weeks, and it got canceled because of low entry numbers. So that's hitting everybody, I think, right now. But that's disappointing. But there's another race May 10th that we're going to do the similar thing at. So,
but that is so cool that you do that. Like, I tell people, I'm like, I love volunteering for races, especially a water station, because you get to just have fun. It's a different mentality.
I have to do it.
And like you said, you've already been there. You know what they're experiencing.
That is one thing, not to interrupt you. But
no, you're good.
Because I have done it, I can relate to the people. All the people that I go up there with to do the aid station, they haven't done this race. They don't know. And you get a finisher's patch. So I made a hat with the patch on it. So everybody that rolls up, if I'm like, dude, how are you? Are you okay? They can look, see, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
And but the patch.
I've endured it. I've endured it so that I can at least relate a little bit. It's like if you talk to somebody that doesn't know about running, they don't know what you're going through. So it's like they understood a little bit. So it was like that. And I couldn't have done it just one year because that's like a cop-out. I had to do it at least 2. It's just a mental thing. But I did it twice, and I survived, and I got better. I beat the second year. I beat my time by over an hour.
Wow.
So it was like, I'm good. I can just party now and enjoy the atmosphere of the place. And it's like a family reunion every year. So the organization that puts it on is called COGS. And so this year they're going to miss out on that money. So at the race that's coming up in May, I'm putting together a raffle for them to get their money somehow. So they can still make some money.
Dale,
cool.
You're such a cool dude.
I don't know. It's probably just
that's amazing. No, and people are going to go back and talk like, man, there was this great race.
They talk about the grilled cheese.
What a station. So before I became a runner, I was an avid road cyclist. So never going to see me on
different community.
Yeah, different community. But we would do, it was pedaling for a cure. So we would start in Monroeville, and then we would bike just random different places, but they always had rest stops. Same for Ride Yellow. There were such great rest stops. And you would just think, wow. And people would always ask you, like when you would stop, hey, you need anything? And again, pickle shots, amazing, especially when they're frozen and they've melted a little bit, like a popsicle. And that's all you needed. And you're just always so thankful that people gave up their Saturday morning or however long to come and hang out.
At the time, though, you don't think that, right? At the time, I'm like, just get out of my way.
I just want to, I want to finish.
I'm focused on what I'm doing. And then when you sit back and you're like, wait, they know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just want to make sure I have water. So,
but it was just and then some people would have like cold towels and fans
whatever
and
to make it
fans.
unique.
Yeah. And I don't know, I've always appreciated that. And then again, in the running world, you get to have races because of volunteers.
Absolutely.
Because if you didn't have a rest stop, people wouldn't come. And so it's like people get to do that. And I don't know, I find it fascinating when I am running and I'm like, look, these people gave up their Saturday morning to be here, or Sunday morning, whatever. And it's like they didn't have to. They could find another reason to do something else. But so I love that. I love that you did that.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I enjoy it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that to me is like my way of being nice because
It's a
I'm,
way of giving back to a sport that
yeah,
you love and appreciate.
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, everything goes back to my childhood with
Mm-hmm.
sports. Like I'm from the football, basketball, baseball
Mm-hmm.
era. And so it's like I'm used to that locker room mentality. It's a very hardened mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're not soft. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you're doing a sport, don't be a sissy, just do it. Like Nike is right. Nike lived on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that sometimes I have to break away from that because people that are doing these things at our age,
Mm-hmm.
not to age us, but at our,
Speak for yourself
yeah,
now.
yeah, but just the fact they're doing it is a win in a lot of their worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you don't know where their journey is or what season of life they're in. So every day when I'm running, I don't judge anybody that's out
Sure.
there because you don't know what they don't know that I was 280,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like you don't know where people are and they're also sometimes when I'm running, I want to be fast, of course, and I'll come around a corner and I'll see a bunch of people and I'll take a couple steps and I'm like, wait, why am I going fast? They don't know that this is my 7th mile. They don't know where I'm at in the run for the day, nor do they probably care. But to me, still, I just fall back on that thing like, well, you weren't good enough, so you get cut. So you have to prove that you're good constantly. And no one ever told me I have to, but it's just a mental thing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it keeps me running.
Yeah.
Or not cycling because I don't. I used to judge my credibility by how fast my Strava times were on the bike as well. And I try to tone that down a little bit. And I don't even put my rides on Strava anymore. I just let them go to my Garmin and that's it. But the only time I put rides on Strava is when I do group rides because I want people to be like, oh, wait, they rode. So my training rides don't go on there. So I keep them secret. I don't.
You should have a different Strava account.
It's my fake Strava account, so no one knows how good I am or bad. No matter how good you are, there's always people way better than you, and that's the humbling side of it all.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even if you don't get humbled by yourself, there's somebody else that's going to humble you really quickly, and that's. I'm not an Olympic athlete. I understand that. As much as I want to tell myself, I doubt
you could be.
I sometimes. Do you ever think about what you would be an Olympic athlete at? I've thought about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I know. Okay, yes. Well, it's also because I want to go pro. Okay. I would love to be a pro pickleball player.
Really?
Yes. I love playing pickleball because it's just such again, different community.
Oh, yeah.
And you want to talk about humbling experience? Retired people will humble you in a heartbeat.
It's golf too. Golf is similar.
Like you're sitting there and you're just like, I got this. And then, I mean, you're just like, I'm lucky I scored 1 point on these people. But I have a new female partner and we have the same mentality because all of my pictures, I'm not photogenic anyway, but I'm very resting face, like very intense. And everyone's told me that. They're like, you're such an intense, focused player. But it's because like when I mess up, I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? Because I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, because you want to learn.
But I also want to win. I'm very competitive. Yeah.
So
it's
here's something you could take from this though. I coached varsity basketball for 5 years in the small town I'm from, and I'm not a moral victory guy. Like you either won or you didn't.
Yeah.
There's no, hey, good job, you made 5 shots.
Right.
Like I do the same thing with my kid. So what? You played good. I don't care. Did you win? Are you better than the person? Like so obviously I'm still translating my bad behaviors to my son, but I started doing a thing and it's not mine. I stole it from somewhere and that's what every coach does. They just steal mantras from other places. You win or you learn, right? Like, so you don't lose. There's a W and an L, but you learn. You might not have won, but you're learning why did you lose?
Yeah.
Or you're learning why did you not do it? And usually it's an effort thing. A lot of times there's a spot in that event where you didn't give effort where you could have. At my age, I still play basketball. I just started last fall again. I hadn't played forever and I was way older than everyone, and basketball's not easy anymore. But I wanted to teach the kids that I played with then, or people that I'm around, don't go away from it mad because you got beat. Go away from it mad because you didn't do what you should have done. Or go away, learn why you did it.
Yeah.
You know? So that was, win or learn was a big one. Urban Meyer, when he was coaching at Ohio State, I think it was like a sports psychologist to stay with the team for a while. And he developed a thing called E plus R equals O.
Okay.
So the event plus your response to the event equals the outcome. So I started preaching that a lot too. It's like how you respond to anything is going to be the outcome of that thing, no matter what, in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can add a P in there, and it's about perspective. The perspective during an event plus your response equals the outcome. So if you can change that variable of the perspective, it's going to change the outcome. So I've been trying to strongly do that. Like, my perspective isn't always right. And people listening to this are probably like, yeah, this dude's wrong. What is he doing? Well, listen, I have a podcast, you guys. I can talk about what I want. But my perspective is all it is, right? So the perspective while you're running, if you see somebody running and they're struggling, take it to their perspective. They're probably not struggling. They're probably going as hard as they can go, right? But from my perspective, they're struggling. Just different perspectives, right? Like, to their perspective, that's fast or that's slow. To my perspective, it's different. So stay in your lane or don't go outside of your lane and change your response to something for a better outcome. And I think that goes all the way back to the don't be married to your thoughts. Take a different perspective on your thoughts. And maybe you'll help somebody that you otherwise wouldn't have before. And I'm not a nice person. Outwardly it is, but my friends that I'm going to go hang out with tonight, they'll tell you that I'm the locker room dude. Like, I have all that in me, but I think I was just taught, hey, you're not the only person on the planet as much as you want to be.
Sure.
I just would push back on my mom and be like, that's fine. I'm just the best. I might be. She hated it.
That is great. She's like, well, my kid.
Yeah.
He's not lacking in the ego department.
No, the ego gets you a lot of places, positively and negatively, but it's okay to have an ego if you're self-aware of it, I think. My self-awareness of my ego is good sometimes.
My husband's who edits this, he's gonna be like, did you hear, Dale? Did you hear that he said change your perspective? Because he's also my mixed doubles partner.
He wants you to change it.
He's gonna be like, change your perspective.
Or he's gonna say win or learn. What did you learn today? You're like walking off. Win or learn.
Yeah, I'll think about you, Dale. I'll be like, you know what, I hate Dale.
Yeah, since we're talking about mantras, I know that's one of the questions. My mantra, and a lot of people that know, if you're listening, you're on my Strava. Every single Strava post, I always put mind over matter. And the words literally mind on top of matter. And I've done it since day one because that was my first thing, was like, this isn't about running. This is about me being able to overcome something. And so that's always been what it was. Even the first 5K. So my first ever 5K that I ran was the Gulf South series. Is that what it was? The Gulf Coast, the summer series one. They did the one.
It's like Gulf Shores.
Yeah. So it was like, it had to be in 2018 maybe, or 2019, the first summer I was here. It's every holiday.
It's like
Memorial
July 4th,
Day, 4th of July. So the first one I did was in Gulf Shores, and I have a picture. Maybe I'll give it to you for this. It says mind over matter on it. And that was my thing. I just always ran like that. And that was my first ever race. And I was just with my wife and her sister and my brother-in-law at the time. I was just hanging out with them. And he's the Ironman guy, right? They're divorced now, so I'll trash him. I don't care. But he tells me, it's okay during a race. If you get tired, just walk. And I remember that, and I still remember that, because I'm not built like that. If there's a start and there's a finish, I'm not just walking. That's not even in my DNA. That doesn't even make sense to me. So I'm just hanging out with them, and like we're deep in the pack, and there's a lot of people at those races.
Right.
And I remember taking off, and I'm like, what is everybody doing? Are we going to run? What are we doing back here? And I literally had to run the first mile in the ditch to get around everyone.
Wow.
Because I was like, oh, wow.
Oh, because you guys started way further back.
Yeah, because I didn't know. It was my first race. I had no idea. And I was just like, I'm just going to go run.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not tired. This isn't running. So I ran the ditch all for the first ever. And people were like, what is he doing? I'm like,
trying to get around you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm sorry. So then the next race, I was up in the front. And I was like, oh, this is way better. But I've also been in the front. I'm not as fast as a lot of those guys. Don't get me wrong. There's some fast people at races. But I was at a race once in the front. Some dude was like, hey, you should let the fast people up front. And I was like, what?
You're like, I am fast.
And that guy, I was like, I don't care where I finish today, but I will trip him before he beats me. I was so mad. It was like, no offense to anybody wearing these outfits, but he was the tank top guy with the sleeves on. And like, he just felt like he was the all-American runner. I beat him so bad. I was so happy. But I was like, what? Come on, man. Like, that was not. He was from New York, so.
Oh, there we go. Way to go.
Judges.
Good job.
Yeah. It was the New York thing. I looked it up after I beat him because I was like, where are you from? Because, you know, they have the location. So, yeah, there we go. So that was.
Mind over matter. And you said, I got this.
This is why I have to tell everybody how fast I am, because I constantly get told that I'm
Go to the back.
Go to the back. Go back there where you belong. You're not good enough to be up here with us. You have sleeves on. What are you doing? You have a cotton shirt on, man. Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is
So
great.
that whole race series was fun. That was my last. I did the shark run. I still have
Okay.
PTSD from that because we started at,
They have people chase you.
oh my God, it's
Okay.
the worst. So
Okay.
you start at Floribama, you run to the bridge, and the most real runners stay on the road and go back.
Right.
Because they're not running in the sand. They're intelligent. I am not. And I was like, I'm running on the beach. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It is not awesome. I was literally chasing one guy. There was only one person in front of me. So only one other good runner was dumb enough to do this. And so I'm following him, and you're in the water because you have to get hard sand, because if not, it's...
Oh, sure. Ankle central turn.
Yeah. And I didn't take my shoes off. Other people were. I'm just running.
Okay.
And people are fishing. There's fishing lines. You have to duck. And you're wearing these belts like flag football, and there's kids and people taking your flags, and they're the sharks, and you're trying to go around them. So I'm trying to catch this guy. We're the first two coming by, so people are ready. They're anxious. They're ready to go crazy. And one of the kids grabs my flags and throws it down. His dad's like, no, not those guys. They're really racing. Get the people that are just partying in the back. So I had to stop and go back and get my flag and put on, which that was part of the game. I should have dodged him. What was I doing? I actually should have ran his little butt over and been like, get out of the way.
I took down a shark.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. And so we go to that beach still, and I'll go to the beach, and I'm like, I can't walk on this sand. Somebody please carry me. I have PTSD. This is weird. The sand is the worst. My heart rate's never been higher. Running on sand is the worst thing ever. 2 miles on sand is bad.
That is wild. So, okay, let me ask you this. Whenever they pull your flag, does it mean like you're done?
No. You just have to go pick it up. They're running opposite of you. They'll grab your flag and they'll giggle and run away and drop it. They don't run far. They just drop it. And you have to stop and turn around and go get it. When you're not trying to beat somebody, it's probably okay. But I was still in race mode, and I'm not a nice person in race mode, so I didn't say anything, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't like.
Oh, his dad said it, though. His dad was like, no, not them. It was actually funny. I was like, okay, he thinks I'm fast.
Hey. He was like, the first two right here.
Yeah. So that was my summer running series.
Okay.
But I haven't really raced since then much.
Like, I can't.
I know. Just 3 probably.
Do you have a favorite recovery tool?
I do have a Theragun.
Okay.
I use it, but probably not as much as I should. But that's probably it.
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes I'll talk to Aaron about, hey, dude, this hurts. What should I do? He's like, I don't know. Go to the doctor. So I don't know. So then I call Dr. Raymond because I don't want to go to the doctor. Hey, Dr. Raymond. Hey, can you help me out?
So you cycle and you run. Do you do any other cross training?
Just basketball.
Basketball?
I play basketball.
Okay.
So I'm pretty active, I guess. I'm addicted to getting my movement goal for the day on my Garmin. But after I said I don't care about stats earlier, just right back to where I am. But I'm a big, giant walking
contradiction. But it's okay. That is okay. As you said, you're like, you know what? I'm changing my mind.
After you listen to this, remember, it's about perspective. Yeah. Are we on recovery?
Yeah.
So when I was managing the gym, I do use this. I forgot I do. So Honda is a big sponsor for Ohio State football.
Okay.
And I'm a big Buckeye fan. So they would send me 2 weeks every year to go to Ohio State and just be around the football program. And so Coach Mick Mariotti's still the strength conditioning coach at Ohio State for the football team. But at the time, he would teach us coaches and gym managers affordable ways to do things. So like foam rollers became really popular. And at the time, Ohio State had 0 soft tissue injuries in 3 years because of this foam roller program that they had all the kids on before practice and after. And they would use long PVC pipes to stretch, and they would use foam rollers to roll everything. And so he literally, and I still have it, gave me their exact foam roller program.
Wow.
So I implemented it with my athletes for basketball. I started doing it myself, and it's amazing.
And then me just sent that to me, Dale.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's amazing to see. They call it a dynamic stretch program, but it's amazing what foam rolling does. It just pushes all that lactic out, and it feels so good. So I don't do it enough, but if my muscles start to ache, I do it, and by the next day, it's usually good. And I don't know the science. I'm sure that you may or somebody else, but I think it just pushes some of that swelling out, and it lets it heal a little bit faster. But that could not be right at all.
Just awesome.
From my perspective, that's what it is.
Well, as somebody that works on people, I would say your fascia gets so knotted up that it helps release it. And so, yeah, no, I'm a huge believer in a foam roller. It's just hard sometimes when you're like, I don't want to do it to myself.
Yeah. So this guy that I worked with, I love him, but he lived in his mom's basement, I'm pretty sure. And he probably still does. He's definitely not going to listen to this. But he was like 300 pounds, but he was like a Viking type. He looked like a Viking.
Okay.
And he's just like a big dude, played video games all the time. But he was a personal trainer with me and he lifted weights. I would foam roll on a foam roller. He got to the point where he was rolling on softballs, lacrosse balls, and pool balls. Can you imagine rolling on like an 8-ball, like into your joints, like into his glutes and his hips? And I'm like, Stefan, what are you doing? He's just rolling and you can't see the ball. He's just rolling around on the ground. And every day I'd always be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm rolling. I'm like, all right.
On what?
On what? Cool. Yeah. So I couldn't imagine foam rollers that are a little bit hard. In Ohio State, back to Ohio State, they would have us get 6-inch PVC pipe or something like that because it's cheaper and you can cut a bunch of pieces out. And you can foam roll that way. But yeah, I like the foam roller. Now they're accessible.
Yeah,
a lot.
they're
everywhere.
Yeah.
Five Below, I think, has them.
Yeah.
So foam rollers are definitely a plus. I stretch my back with them a lot. But I did learn this, and I don't know if you're not supposed to do the middle of your back. So your back should not arc. You do the top and the bottom and then flip it parallel to your spine and then roll side to side because it's supposed to be bad for your spine. That's what they told us anyway. So I never go in the middle. I just do the lower and the top.
There we go. Love it.
Perspective.
Love that. So let's say that somebody comes to you and they're like, Dale, I want to get involved in running or mountain biking. What is a piece of advice you would tell them?
Don't tell me about it until you've done it for 3 weeks.
Oh.
Because a lot of people that get into something do it for you. Don't do it for the community. Don't do it for the tribal aspect of it. Do it for what you want to get into it. I tell all these people because I've become a de facto leader in the mountain bike community. They're always like, hey, this dude started biking. He bought a bike. He's super into it. He wants to do this and he wants to do that and he wants to do this or he or she.
Sure.
And I always say, that's awesome. I love that. But please tell me in 3 weeks because chances are I would waste my time to get all of their energy bestowed on me just for them to flake out or to disappear. So I want it to become a habit. It's got to become a habit before you start telling everybody that you're a runner or you're a cyclist. Make it a habit of your life. Make it something you're changing for you, not for any other outside reason. I think that's probably the hardest part. I see too many people come and go, even avid people, even passionate people, whether it's injury, time. We're very busy people, but I also learned during COVID that you're not that busy. You've created a lot of busyness.
Sure.
It's okay to say no to things, to fulfill what you want to do. Be selfish. Make it a priority in your life. This is another part of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Make it a habit. Make it a priority and make the change. Make it happen. And I don't think that a lot of people, they want to do things because it looks sexy or it looks fun or that group looks awesome to hang out with. And then they go do it and it's like, wait, it's painful. But yeah, all those people started where you're starting.
Yeah.
I just feel like you have to earn a little. With me, you do. I mean, I'm proud of you for starting to run. I'm proud of you for wanting to ride, but I'm not going to hold your hand until you're ready.
Yeah.
I'll be there when you're ready to take the next step. But I think I've learned that. I've won or I've learned. I won some things with some friends that I'm still friends with. And I've learned that I wasted my time with a lot of people. But I've also done this because I'm weird. If you haven't pictured that up in the last hour and a half. If I'm doing something during the day and somebody's name pops in my mind or something, a memory, I immediately text them.
Oh.
Whether they respond, I don't know. But I've gotten in some really, really weird conversations with people that I hadn't talked to in a long time just by reaching out to them. Because you never know what they're going through that day. And I have to tell them that I ran a 7-minute mile pace 5K that morning.
Hey, just thinking about you. And by the way,
no, I don't do that. But I do try to reach out to people that I think about a lot, and I don't want them to do that back to me. I mean, it's cool if they do, but they're not going to get much out of me because I'm not that interesting. But I think that doing that helps. Like if I haven't seen somebody I've been riding with or I used to ride with, I'll be like, hey dude, what's up? Do you need a new tire? Do you need help? What do you need to get you back on the bike? Oh no, my wife's I've been busy. My wife's keeping me busy. Okay, well, I can call her and tell her that you need to come. I'm okay with it. I'll take the hit. I didn't get married till I was 30. Trust me, all my friends' wives hated me for a long time because I was the last single one. So I get it, but I'm willing to help those people get back. I'm not willing to help them start. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's
No,
selfish.
I get it. I've been approached several times because I used to be an avid I wouldn't even say triathlete, but I loved doing triathlons.
Yeah.
And we went all over the states. And again, it goes back to what you're saying, that people are like, oh, that's so cool. You do that. I want to do that too. Okay, well, go do the one that's at the hangout.
Right.
Go do that one because you don't need a fancy bike. You only bike, was it 10, 12 miles? It's relatively flat. You swim 300 meters, and you run 2 miles. If you can do that and you're still addicted, like you hit it, because with triathlons,
or not divorced.
Right. It's like, you're like, either I love it or I don't.
Right.
But why spend all that money on a tri kit or a bathing suit or a bike when you're going to wind up hating it?
Exactly.
And so just borrow someone's bike. Like, you don't even need a road bike. I mean, I've seen people with mountain bikes do that triathlon. And people come out and like, that was a great idea because, I don't like it. So it's like we said, it sounds great, sounds sexy, but then they're like, that was not fun. Nor was the training, because you have to even for the
Sacrifice.
sprint, you have to be somewhat of a decent swimmer. But I tell people, like, you can doggy paddle it. Are you wanting to finish it, or are you wanting to like train for it?
Right.
But I would never sign up for an Ironman without, and I'm not an Ironman, but anyways, but I like the sprint.
Well,
like that was just fun.
To be fair, neither was he.
I was like, that's just too much time doing all those things. And I never wanted to grow tired of either one. I enjoyed swimming, I enjoyed biking, and I enjoyed running. And I was like, I feel like I would just hate it by the end of it. So I was like, I can stick to the sprint intermediate ones. I can do those. It's totally fine. Plus, I'm not spending like a buttload of money to do those. And then I was always afraid of, well, what happens if my tire goes? And that's time. And I'm going to stress out when I can just run it back. So that's what I would tell people. I'm like, start here first. And then if you like it, then I'll go ride with you. And I would tell people, I'm like, I'll ride with you, but it's 10 miles. If you can't ride a bike for 10 miles.
Here we are, sitting on our thrones of success.
It's one of those things where, again, it's like we said, people don't really understand what it takes.
Well, and I think that a lot of times in the run, we've endured a lot with running or cycling. We become somewhat elitist accidentally. Like,
I would never.
But no, seriously.
Do you see this Athena body now?
I know, no, but we do, because we've already accomplished a lot that they haven't. So there's an elitist attitude like, oh, wait, we have done this. You're not. You haven't done it yet. And I like to have that because of that whole back to the tribal thing. Like, we endured war together. No offense to real people that have endured war, but we've endured something together. So it's, I don't know. It's just that. I don't know. I don't know how to say.
Being in the trenches of going through it. And
you know that person beside you would do it again just to feel that feeling that they did, or the mental health benefit that they got from it, or the physical benefit. We forget that it's all physical. And that's what I love about mountain biking, because there's so much going on in the woods. You're tricking your mind into exercise. Like, when you get done, you don't know that you just physically exercised for a while. So you're like, oh, well, I just got to ride with my friends. That was great. But no, you rode and your heart rate was up and you hadn't done anything else all week but sit on the couch. So I think I get on my friends a lot now because they haven't been riding that much lately or hanging out. It's like, guys, what are your excuses that you've let it become not your habit anymore? Like, you've changed. We have a thing we call it Dirt Church. We meet on every Sunday morning, and I didn't create Dirt Church. It was a thing that I stole an idea from somewhere else. But what has happened is a lot of places, there's 3 other places in Alabama that now asked us if they could call it Dirt Church, and they have Dirt Church at their place
that's cool.
on Sunday mornings now, and they tag us in their posts and stuff, and I'm like, that's awesome, you know? Because it's like, we've spurred something that we indirectly are influencing people or directly are influencing people to get off their butts and go do something. And so that's all I care about. Just go be outside, go. There's so many other tangents I could go on about not being in touch with nature and like not being outside. And I build trails a lot at our place, and I don't get the benefit or the joy of riding those trails. I get the joy from seeing people smile after they ride the trails, or like it's cathartic for me to go build the trails. So when I see people happy after they rode it or excited to ride it again, that's it's accomplishment. It feels good, and that's the fun for me. And then I have to tell them I'm better than them at riding and show them. So it's
like drama.
Yeah, guys, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you can't ride it. So I have a balancing act in my own mind where I'm like the good and evil. It's like always bags. Oh God, you guys are so you're playing into my trap. Come ride my trail so I can be better than you.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Do you have a trail board of who's at the top and stuff?
No. Out there at our private place. No, because we actually have a no Strava policy. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's no point in putting a board up. I'd be at the top.
Duh.
No, we have
got Dale's board.
Yeah. Everyone else is like way below it. No, out there the trails aren't like they're downhill trails with a bunch of jumps and obstacles. So yeah, it is about going fast, but it's not about the Strava loops that you're trying to go around in a circle really fast on. That place is more about just community, I think. And the funny thing is, I say that, and it's private community that you have to pay to be a part of. Okay, here we are. Frat boy stuff. Sometimes you have to take a step back from what you're doing and look at it from a different angle and realize, hey, those guys are elitist. Sorry if I
Here we are. So let's talk about goals. Do you have any? Whether running, cycling, podcasting?
I'm terrible with goals, and I always have been. I got into real estate for a little while, and they were constantly like, set goals. I'm like, well, I'll just set results and show you, like, I don't need the goal. I just need the result of what it takes. And I'm like that person where either I did it or I didn't. So it's, all right, I don't need a step-by-step process of how to get there. I'm just going to go do it. And sometimes I guess that is the goal. When I set a goal, I become obsessive about it. So I have to tread lightly. Like that goal of being sub 20, I could have probably trained again and done it again and maybe made it or maybe not. Maybe I'll do it again someday, maybe not. But I think that I don't know. I'm not very good with goals. So I don't really have any. And plus I don't work. So I don't have any fit shop goals. My goals are they're very maybe daily, just like what I'm going to do that day is a goal. My long-term goals, of course, are just like I want my kids to be good people. I want to put them in a place where they can be successful. And I snowboarded and wakeboarded and skateboarded and did all these crazy sports that were unconventional. And I want to offer my children the ability to whatever they want to do. I want to help them do it. I don't want to snowplow parent. I don't want to push all of adversity out from in front of them, but I want to offer them the opportunity to get hit by the snowplow. Here you go. This is what you need to do it with. Go do it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because somebody asked if my kids are mountain bikers, and I bought them bikes. And during COVID, they made their own YouTube channel and did a little.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, biker kids mountain bike thing, because that was our thing. I was like, we're not sitting inside. Let's go.
Yeah.
But what I do on a mountain bike, I'm scared to watch my kids do on a mountain bike. I don't know that I want them to do it. Like, I want them to do it, but I also don't. It's like that weird protection thing. Or I think that's a bad idea. But my friend over here that's got a job and a wife and kids and a career, like, dude, you should do that. I think that'd be awesome if you did that. But my kid that can lay in his bed for the next 8 months and affect nothing, I'm like, no, dude, don't do that, please. So I don't know. There's a different, I'm not very good at goals.
Okay.
I probably should. Maybe I'd have a job. Maybe I'd be super successful if I had goals. But I'm sure I do have goals.
There you go. Okay.
It's weird.
Okay, so let's talk about, because you've mentioned how you go daily and you just run. So do you have a favorite distance that you're like, wow, yeah, like I went and ran that and that's my favorite, like my magic number?
It's probably 5 miles.
Okay.
I can run 5 miles every day if I want. I tend to go 3 to 4 usually just because time, but I got a lot of stuff to do. But 5 miles is usually a pretty good sweet spot, because 4 I can usually do right around 30 minutes. So 4 if I do is good, but 5 feels like I've accomplished something. That is when I feel like I had to push a little bit more. I'm sure it'll slow down when the temperature rises, but for the last few months, I've been trying to go 8 to 10 on Mondays.
Wow.
So I've been trying to do that and then go a little further. I haven't been a far distance runner very well, but so I'm trying to do that a little bit more.
Okay.
So I think it's probably 5, I would say.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
So obviously you're a dad and a mountain biker, heavily involved, and a runner. When you're not doing those things and you're not podcasting, what fuels you? What are you passionate about?
Whew, I don't know. I think that those things take up a lot of my time.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because of the dad thing. Because when I'm
Mhm.
not doing those things, I'm at a baseball tournament or I'm at a dance with my
Mhm.
daughter or something like that. So I don't know. I think that that's probably it. I
Okay.
don't think I have anything that's outside of that. I know that I would love to have. I don't know. I like the beach. That's not a passion, but it fuels me a little bit.
Okay. All right.
But that's it. I'm not shallow, I guess, in that aspect. All
I mean,
those
we
things,
name a lot of names.
all those things keep me pretty busy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm a guy, so this is a male's perspective only, and I try to help my wife with this. I have so many hobbies and things that I dabble in. There's a lot of layers of this onion you could peel back of things that I've done that I've become obsessed with, but she doesn't have those things, right? And I'm always like, how can I help her find her tribe or something like that? And then I remember she works and I don't. So I'm like, hey, okay, well, if I keep you working, I can stay unemployed. So I'm not going to suggest too many things. But no, I try to help her. And that's probably, it's trying to juggle life. Yes. We get so caught up in this. So social media is a blessing and a curse, right? Because you compare yourself to everything. And you look at, well, that's perfect. And that's that. And that's that. It might not be.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. We don't know the struggle. So I try to eliminate that out of my mind. Like, I don't compare myself to anybody. My ego steps in. No one's comparable. So that's my point.
Again, the Dale board.
Yeah.
There's the Dale board.
The Dale board. I'm mostly joking about all those self jabs. But it is, I think we all joke about it a little bit. But I think that there is something to be said if you can, your self-awareness and be like nowadays mental health is so important.
Sure.
And I think that it's so, especially males, we are not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to have bad problems. We're not allowed to have bad days or bad weeks, especially if we live in this locker room culture. And so when we do find a way to outlet that or a mental health benefit, I want to share it with everyone. I want everyone to know, go run or go bike or just go be around those people. Like, I have friends that can't bike because they're out of shape or their bike's broken. I invite them to come hang out. Like, just be around us. You're going to get made fun of. You're getting made fun of if you're not there. So just come be present.
Yeah.
Because it might change your day. It might change your life. And you might come back. Or you might say, those guys are not my people anymore, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But just don't live status quo. Don't be Mobile. As a previous conversation we had off air. But it's like, we moved on a whim. I moved to Mobile. I was a basketball coach. She was a cheerleading advisor. My whole family lives there. We lived on a 5,000 acre lake. We had the all-American dream. We could have lived there for eternity. And I told her one day, I was like, hey, we're moving. We sold everything except for our beds and our clothes. And I had never, ever been in the state of Alabama until I was driving a U-Haul to move here.
Stop.
Yeah. So taking risks can change you. Like, I lived in Ohio. I played basketball, went to college, moved back to that town, managed the bar that I worked at when I was in high school. We never left. She had never left the county. She lived there forever. Our attire was our school shirts, whatever the school was. That was our life. That was it. And a lot of people love that. And when we said we were moving, I haven't talked to anyone. I talked to one person and my brother from there, because no one could understand how we could give up everything that they all wanted and just leave it. But I didn't want my kids to know that's all there is to life. I wanted them to know, look, there's the golf. There's other people that don't look just like me in the world. There's other opportunities that don't exist. And to this day, like, I'm 42 now, and probably once a month I experience something culturally, food-wise, or something that I never knew existed. And if you're not living your life like that, then what? Are you even living your life? And I find sometimes I have to pinch myself because I don't know how I end up in places that I do. I was in Louisiana in the last fall and at a mountain bike event, and the guy that hosted the mountain bike event had gotten me a place to stay. And so I went by myself. I was like, cool, I'm going to come. I'm going to set up our tent. I'm going to promote Ride the Rebellion. Our tent's full of people that I didn't come with. They're just people that I'm friends with there that I've made friends over years. So I had a bunch of people hanging out, had a few beverages, and go back to my little camp thing. And I had gotten invited to other camp places to hang out. And I was like, I'm just going to go take a shower and I'm going to set my bed up. So I get in the shower and I'm sitting there, and I might have been a little drunk, but maybe not that drunk. And I remember just closing my eyes and like looking around and being like, how does somebody from rural Ohio end up in the middle of swamp people land on a mountain bike by himself? And then it just dawned on me, like, I'm really happy about this. Like, why? I'm not scared. I don't care. So I grabbed my backpack and went and found the parties, you know, like it's liberating. It's like, there's so many people that don't do anything or don't go outside their comfort zone. They don't even get to experience those things. I live outside my comfort zone most days. And when I feel myself not treading on the comfort zone level, it's like, I gotta do something. I gotta go run further today because I gotta feel discomfort, or I gotta go bike and do something that's uncomfortable. Or when I do work with Drew, we work in the media industry, so we're in different places all the time around different people, and it's crazy. So my comfort zone is always expanding. I always say that it's like a trampoline that just bounces. It can go in, it can go out. But I think that people get too comfortable, and it's okay to be comfortable according to media and social media, because comfortable is controllable. Uncomfortable is not controllable. So if you're comfortable, then you're scared of things, and you're like fearful of every little thing that you hear, and you're afraid to do things. And I'm not. I'm like, let's go. What?
We'll go to the swamp.
Yeah, I'll go to the swamp. I don't care. I saw swamp people. I can talk to them. I think that if you listen to our last episode, people had questions and we answered them, and somebody said, how do I approach a new jump? They asked me that, like, how do you approach a new jump or a feature that you're scared of? And Drew even made the comment, I think he made the comment that he can't wait to hear my answer because he knew it was going to be a lie. And I was like, no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not scared. I'm either going to do it or I'm not.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to do it, I don't think about it. And it's not a problem because I'm not scared of it. I'm not going to do it. If it's something that I'm scared of, I'm just going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to think about it. So there's no thought process that goes into it. I'm just going to do it or I'm not going to do it. There's no gray area. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm even talking about.
No, it's great. I was going to say, do you have any final words of wisdom? But that sounded great. To be uncomfortable.
Yeah, be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's another one that's
good. Yeah,
I mean, I stole it probably from
it sounds great.
Philosopher of
You
Greek.
should probably put that on a t-shirt.
A philosopher of Greek origin. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I don't know. It's and I say that all to say I do find myself seeking comfort sometimes because I try to put myself in so many uncomfortable situations. I probably make things uncomfortable for myself a lot of times, maybe on purpose. I don't know. See if I can recover. Socially, sometimes I don't. I apologize.
There's been a lot of apologies on this podcast.
If you made it this far, then I guess it's okay.
Dale, this has been absolutely amazing. This has been so fun.
I was worried when you said that a lot of people suggested I come on. I was like, I cannot imagine what they said.
Yeah, but they were like, you have to have a Dale.
All right.
So
I hope I fulfilled some expectation.
Thank you so much. And I highly suggest people go listen to Ride the Rebellion. It is super funny. Like like you said, we talked about the last episode, and I was like, wow, these dudes are funny.
Yeah.
So,
and we had a comedian on 2 episodes ago, a real life comedian. Yeah. So I wasn't funny that day.
So thank you for what you do, not only for obviously running, but also with the mountain biking. Like that's everyone, as you said, everyone needs a place, and you're being a voice to those that so many of us don't even know about. Right. So I know about the community because of the trails, like with Trail with Steve Taylor. And obviously, as you said, South has great trails for biking and for running. And so we all have a place. And just like you said, get used to being uncomfortable. That's really good.
That's right. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Didn't you guys just love Dale? Like, oh my goodness, so much fun. We have to get him back out to run races with us because I would love to see the Flat Boy gang at it again. James, you're going to have to come down and run a race again. Sorry, bro. So much fun. Absolutely a blast to sit down with Dale and all the many hats that he wears. Guys, he wears a lot of hats or helmets, whatever you want to say. But again, I love what he's doing not only in the mountain bike community, but also what he brought to this story, to his story. And it was a great reminder of it doesn't matter what size you are. And I think that this is a lesson for all of us. And it's something that I've had constant conversations when I'm out running with friends or when people are talking to me and they're like, man, I'm constantly amazed by runners because There is no, this is the body type you should be. And I think Dale, he kept hitting on that time and time again. Same for mountain biking, coming from the world of road cycling. And if you listen to my story, then you know that that's where I started, is that anybody can do this. And I recently had a conversation with Allison Swan at Azalea Trail, and she went to an Ironman competition and she was watching the competition. And she said, man, if these people can do it, I can do it. And I think that that's how we inspire one another, how we spur one another on. It's kind of like the iron sharpens iron mentality of like, well, if Allison can do it, or if Dale can do it, then anybody can do it. And so I think that that is how we grow our community and how we say, you know what, there's no body shaming because this is the body that you have and we're going to get it across the finish line. And I think that's the beauty of running, of cycling, of triathlons, of whatever it is. You can do it. It may be harder depending on what's going on with your body, but you can do it. And you have a community that is constantly cheering you on and wants to be there for you. So, Dale, thank you for sharing your story. It was absolutely incredible. It was so much fun. You have such a big heart, and I don't care what James and Lance and Aaron say about you. I'm just kidding. They say great things. I was told this was going to be a fun podcast. And like I said, so many people were like, you have to have Dale on. You have to have Dale on. I know he does more mountain biking, but you got to have him on. And they were right. Absolutely. So if you told me to have Dale Boyd on, you were correct. Give yourself a pat on the back and be like, you know what? Kudos, because that was a good podcast. Definitely go check out Ride the Rebellion Zero Drop podcast. They are such a great group. They're funny. And like I said, they have different guests on. Emily Bullock's been on to talk about nutrition and other things on there. So definitely go check them out. Go listen to them. Have a good time. I've been listening to them in the car and it's just been a lot of fun. So I think that's the other thing is supporting one another. And that's, again, the beauty of this community. So thank you, Dale, from the bottom of my heart for sitting down with this podcast and sharing your non-running story, even though you are a runner and it has been said on this podcast. So you said it, you're a runner. We're going to get you a t-shirt that says I'm a runner. And again, thank you to Run and Try and Aaron and the team there. Guys, definitely go in and check them out. Say, hey man, thank you for supporting and partnering with Run Your Story. We absolutely love you guys. We really need to support local, shop local, run local, all the things. And so definitely go check out our friends there. We absolutely love them. Again, I get my injury prevention there. I get my recovery there. I get my nutrition there, shoes, like all the things, guys. So definitely go check them out and tell them thank you. And thank you so much to Gilliard Tech Services. Great, actually, he's been laughing a lot in our pod when he's editing. I'll walk in and he has his headphones on and he's just chuckling and he's like, oh, this is fun. And so we talk about the stories. We talk about what you guys say. And when you can make Gray laugh, it's gonna be good. So thank you to Gilliard Tech Services, to Gray. He gives up so much for Run Your Story and I really appreciate him. He tells me all the time I could not edit this podcast and he's right. Even though I say I can do anything, I despise technology. And Dale can attest to that. Before the podcast, we were talking. He was asking me all these questions. And I was like, bro, I don't know. That could be a question for Gray. So if you need your website updated, you want to get a new website, you have an idea, you want him to just give a second look at a website, definitely check out Gilliard Tech Services. You can sit down with him. He consults for free because he just wants every entrepreneur, every business to have a really good website. So definitely reach out to him, see what he says, and go from there. I'm always amazed at what he comes up with. He's just phenomenal and just super creative, and he does a ton of research. So Gilliard Tech Services believes in Run Your Story, and he believes in the running community. And just, again, thank you for all that you do, Gray. To our Patreon supporters, I love you guys. Thank you so much for being so excited about this podcast and for all that you do. I'm so inspired by our Patreon supporters. And I would also like to say, join our Patreon community, guys. It is so much fun. We have a couple of things lined up that we're trying to do for our Patreon family members. I love these guys. And there's different tiers, just like you can sign up for different race distances, you can sign up for different tiers to support this podcast. So if you love this podcast and you want to see us encouraged, sign up as a Patreon family member. And also make sure you like, share, and comment, guys. We love reading the comments. When you guys send messages, I get so pumped and encouraged. And I'm just incredibly thankful. And I just really appreciate you guys. So until next time, guys, go run your story because every story needs to be heard.